Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hello, Juan. We are in Quantum Education with Education 3000. I am Noemi Paimal with Juan Villegas. And Juan is a researcher with Quantum Education, ex-director, headmaster of a school, Gurukul in Nepal, and teacher for many years in Auroville, India. So Juan, we have a good subject today. What is it about?
So this subject is about changing the patterns, the emotional patterns, the problems that we keep seeing repeating in our lives. And I will touch a little bit on the science, some scientific discoveries about it and what we can do practically.
So this is very important for us and very practical. Liberation of the energetic patterns of the ancestors and with the relationship with parents and children, how it works together. So what's about this liberation? What do we have to do, and what's the quantum field in relation into all that?
Okay, so the first thing I want to mention that there has been in the last like 20, 30 years like a new field emerging of science called epigenetics. And what this field is researching is like the impact that our emotions are like the environment it's having in our DNA, and how these emotional and environmental imprints, they are passed on to children. So this is something new that we didn't think it would happen before, and most of us didn't learn this in school. And with regards to this, they did like an experiment. I just want to illustrate like how powerful this is. But they did an experiment with mice. Mm-hmm. It's a very cruel experiment because often they are, but anyway. And in the experiment, they had some mice and they showed them like the color yellow. And then they will electrocute them. So naturally, the mouse, yes, the mouse will be like really terrified of seeing this color. Okay, and then that mouse will have offspring. Mm-hmm. So what they did is like then this offspring, they will never show them the color yellow to them, and then they will have offsprings again and again and again up to 5 generations, where they will never see the color yellow again and never be electrocuted, nothing. So after 5 generations, there will be this mouse that they will show them the color yellow, and instantly they will be terrified.
After 5 generations?
After 5 generations. So they could see that like something that the adult learned got passed on to it could be a trauma, it could be anything. It got passed on to their kids. So now they're beginning to see, like scientifically, that this is happening in many cases, like with researching people who have gone through World War II and their kids and so on. This, at the same time, it's nothing new for humanity. All the ancestral cultures, they always knew that whatever the parents and grandparents they struggled with, whatever they were afraid or they had a trauma, it was passed on to the kids, and whatever. Also positively, whatever dream they had that they didn't accomplish, that they had that thing that they wanted to pursue, it also got passed on to the kids and grandkids and so on. So this leads us to a situation where most of us, the moment we are in contact with kids as teachers or parents, we begin to see that there are some things that take over. We don't know what, but all of a sudden we are starting to behave like the teacher that we had, or we're starting to behave like our father or like our mother. We don't know why. And we have
it's like sometimes people, they shout at their kids and they say, oh, I just shout the exact same way that my mother.
Yes.
And they realize, oh my God, it's like my mother. And it's strong, no, for us.
It's very strong, and this is why it gets passed on, because it's like strong emotional situations that are not resolved.
Plus, it's almost it's inside the unconsciousness, so we don't even realize sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for mentioning.
the same thing happened with the kids. As they grow up, they start to have the same kind of like responses that we used to have towards our parents. So we see that we are in this like repetitive cycle. Now, the idea is that it is very important we can take the responsibility to be the ones that break this chain of repetition until that it was going to go on until someone stopped it or solved it. Now, the idea, so that's more or less what's happening. Everybody will put different words to it, different experiences, but that's the general situation across the world. And the idea is like, okay, how do we solve this? We need to, it's not so difficult. The idea is that we are attracting and we are looking for these situations that bring these emotional patterns. So if we want to bring an end to it, what we need to do is, rather than react from this emotion, that it's coming very fast and very unconscious, like either you're terrified of something and then you do whatever, or you are very angry and then it's very fast and then you explode very quickly, or you are very sad and then it's very overwhelming and you do whatever the sadness say. The idea is to be with it, let it come, breathe through it, let the emotion like really be felt, because it's something that it's like unconscious. So we need to become conscious of it. We need to feel that anger, and that anger, that sadness, that fear, if we let it happen, not react, it's going to bring a transformation inside, and it's going to bring some clarity, and it's going to get like resolved. A problem with this is that often it's really intense. It's really intense, so it's very difficult. You are boiling with anger or something, you want to explode, or you're very terrified. It's very difficult to just like calmly sit with it, because it's pressing. It's telling you to react. You have to react now. You have to make a drama right now. So it's very difficult to sit with it. So looking at the ancestral cultures that they have been observing this for millennia and finding ways to deal with this, often they have their own rituals that involve a lot more the use of the body, because the body is we're having a strong emotional reaction, and then the mind is telling us the mind doesn't want to feel so intense feelings, so the mind wants to react and get out of it quickly. So we need something that can a little bit distract the mind and let the body process all these hormones and all these neurotransmitters and everything. So they will often do activities that involve the body while you're having these strong experiences. Either you will dance, or you will just jump, or you will like make some handicraft or color, or even shout. If it's anger, it can be very, not shout at someone, but like, go somewhere and just like make some noise. Even maybe like in India, you can make like a om or something, but try to get this intensity outside of the body and like expressed and conscious again, and to circulate and oxygenate. So when we do this kind of process, the emotion will go away. We have been transformed by the emotion. We begin to see things a little bit different. And then it's when we start to get the positive thinking coming, like, oh, actually, it's not really like this. I also did this. It's not fully right. Or I prefer this or that. But we need to get this, we need to kind of like let the storm pass through us so we can begin to hear other perspectives.
Because we can't fix something we don't know. So there is a saying, if I realize something, or I suddenly know, oh, there is something, I never realized I was shouting like my mother, let's say. So when you realize that, of course, the emotion and the pain is like, oh no, am I repeating? But then you are aware of it. So 50% is already solved, because when you are aware, you can solve something you don't know about. Yeah. So that's the good news.
Yeah, actually, and because the way this happens is totally unconscious. You are like, it's almost like another person. We are so disconnected from ourselves. So I am this person, something happens, some trigger, I react, I shout or whatever. it's coming very fast, it takes over, and then it goes away. And then I'm feeling like, what was that? That was not me, or I don't want that to be me. And it becomes very difficult to actually explore what's happening there, what's your wound, or to actually change anything, because we're not even owning it. So by accepting it, like you're saying, it begins to connect back to ourselves. It begins to connect with other parts of the brain that have different ways to do things, different opinions about that situation. And it starts to, like, by itself, the brain, it's beginning to harmonize it. But the important thing is to own it. And one of the main reasons these patterns are so repetitive, it's not only because of what we do in the pattern, it's because afterwards we disown it by feeling guilty.
Oh.
So we say, oh, I will never do this again. I will never do it again. I will never do it again. Or I hate it when I was like this. We think that if we reject that part of us strongly enough, it will never happen. But that is actually just disconnecting it. And it's like making it difficult for other parts to dialogue with it. So one of the main elements that's keeping the patterns repeating and repeating is the guilt. And it's very interesting, like, but we think that the pattern is, for example, the anger. No, the pattern is the guilt. Is the actual guilt that we don't want to, because the guilt, if it's taken in a healthy way, it can be very good. The guilt is just saying, okay, I made a mistake, or I did whatever I don't like. I feel bad about it. And when you feel bad about it, it's sinking in. I'm letting it sink in. And this, like, process is going to transform me in a way that I would approach the situation differently. The guilt is part of the healing when we allow it to just feel, not to judge or to criticize ourselves. It's actually the guilt can bring the final closure to the loop.
So the guilt is telling me, okay, Noemi, it's a warning, and if I say thank you now, thank to you, I realize that, and I can go forward. Yeah,
in fact, like the problem with the guilt is that actually we don't feel guilt. That's what.
No, we feel terrible.
Is that what we are saying?
Yes.
We are beginning to accept, when we are beginning to see ourselves and accept that maybe something was not so good. And this is a good process. Like, if we look at the world, everybody's complaining like, oh, these people are like this, are like that. And we just wish that they could, like, stop for a moment and recognize, like, oh yeah, I made a mistake. So, okay, it is good to recognize that you made a mistake. The problem is that the guilt is saying, don't feel that you made a mistake. Don't change. Don't let it, like, go inside and something deep to change. Just say that you're sorry. Or just say you will never do it again, or just say that I'm not like that. So it's, when we avoid the guilt, it's just making, like, trying to make a quick mental strategy and solution, or like an excuse. Where we need to, like, actually let the things, like, really sink in and bring, like, a long-lasting change. So what's that step? When I realize that, what is my step? Besides, like, you have been triggered in these patterns of the family or whatever. You have been triggered, and maybe you did something out of panic. You got afraid, or you got, like, angry or whatever. You realize, okay, I made a mistake. If you will feel sad about it, it's just another feeling. Let yourself feel this feeling and it will go away. And when it goes away, you'll be clear on how to, like, go about it, what to do, what to fix, or what not to do again. There will be a long-lasting transformation. But Juan, from the quantum point of view, can I go to the past and just fix it smoothly forever? And from the quantum, this is like, we're going, like, far, but from the quantum point of view, of course, like, the past, the present, and the future are, like, going in all directions, and they're all connected, and that is there. Something we can do, and it's a very, like, positive exercise to do, is, like, something that happened in the past, to visualize and feel how you would have preferred that it had happened. And that's going to bring, like, that's going to create an imprint in the brain that is going to sort of like guide you towards a life as if that had happened. But again, it's very difficult if we have like a traumatic event in our life. It's very, the moment we think about it, we feel strong pain and a strong emotion, or whatever. It's very difficult to say like, oh yeah, and then this happened and now I feel so happy about it. There is a strong resistance to because like we said before, we have disconnected from that part of us. So it's even difficult to go there and imagine something good. That's why I recommend first release all the feelings of that past. Then yes, then you can, oh, I imagine that I had a lovely childhood or a lovely this and this happened wonderfully. And that's going to have a very positive effect in the body. Even though it didn't really happen in this timeline, it's going to direct our lives as if we have had it.
Okay.
That can be very powerful for our self-esteem, for many things.
And Juan, in post-trauma techniques, there is one which is to move your eyes and to do all this movement with the eyes. It's called to move all the extra, the muscles of the eyes to be unblocked, and we move, like in yoga we do that too, and in post-trauma routines as well. That will help to erase, or at least to disconnect the emotional load.
That helps to reconnect the thinking and the emotional part, the rational, because sometimes when we are over emotional, there is a larger perspective that we don't see. So by involving the body movement, the eyes, the hands, dance, whatever, it's helping to reconnect all the parts of the body that have, and the parts of the brain that have like different inputs that can help to bring a more balanced view and to heal it. Yeah,
okay. Very helpful. About the ancestors as well, we can, it's not only about things, we can feel the strengths of them and their dreams and their love, and it's very powerful to be connected with the ancestors in our life.
Yeah, the problem is that for many of us in these modern lifestyles, whenever we think about our culture, our country of origin, our family, there is often, the moment we connect to that, there is so many memories that are painful that it is difficult to get that positive feeling. So the more we are like clear in all this, then yes, we're going to feel a lot more strength. We're going to feel a lot more confident, a lot more grounded. So in a way, it's like these patterns that we're feeling. It's we could say like it's like the thinking, the feeling, the energy of the ancestors. And when that energy is transformed, it joins us towards what we want.
And at the end of the story, to finish up with something practical, can we do Ho'oponopono when we don't know what to do else? I mean, when we are stuck somewhere?
Yes, I mean the Ho'oponopono is very good to bring like a positive feeling towards someone. Again, it just depends on if you are feeling neutral, more or less okay, you do practice the Ho'oponopono, and it is going to bring a lot of positive feelings for that person. But if you think about someone and the heart is like in big pain, there can be some resistance to that. So it can also, if you do Ho'oponopono and you feel some resistance, then yes, you can give a little space for that resistance. You can shout it or whatever, or dance it and express it. When that is calmed down, then the Ho'oponopono can bring a lot of like love and
so first the breathing, first calming ourselves. Always go back to the breathing in that case.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find tips to finish up the program with something practical to do.
Something practical is like to trust our feelings. Trust our feelings. Our feelings are there to help us. Like we have problems in our life. We think that we have problems and we have like negative feelings. No, the negative feelings are the solutions to those problems.
Okay, transform that into positive.
Yeah. So we have a problem, and when the problem comes a feeling, when we feel the feeling, then we can go over the problem. So to trust a lot more our body, our feelings, our intuition, and not only the negative, also the positive. There's a lot of people who have a lot of trouble, like letting themselves feel happy, letting themselves feel at peace, letting themselves dream. We also have resistance to that.
Okay, so we have the power to change all that.
Yeah. And it's there every day.
Be more relaxed, less stress, and just because we can do it. And it's the right time to do it now, as humanity is shifting right now. It's our opportunity as a person, as a community, as a humanity, and for the children. The children, they do want it, they are ready.
Yeah.
Are you finishing soon?
Oh, talking about the children. Hello. Yes, we are finishing. So the next program, it's something very important too. It's always important, actually. It will be, oh yeah. Can we talk about the morphic fields next time so people will follow up?
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
That will explain a lot of things too.
Yeah, as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to being with Quantum Education, Education 3000. See you on the next video.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Juan. Thank you very much. Have a very good day. Take care.
You too. Bye.